and welcome in Pennsylvania Congressman Guy Reschenthaler, a member of the House Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, great to see you.
John, thanks for having me on. I always enjoy it.
Well, we always enjoy having you with us. And, you know, Republicans have said over and over again you can't convict a private citizen during an impeachment trial. Of course, Democrats say otherwise. But does it really matter at this point? The trial is set to start in less than an hour. There are also some reports that the trial may end early. With a call for a censure vote here. But, you know, I think the real objective for Democrats and even some Republicans who don't like President Trump is to inflict maximum pain, to bring up a lot of the worst things that were said here, to cast President Trump in a negative light, to damage him as much as possible for any political future he may have.
Exactly. This is all politics. And, John, we were told during the entire campaign by Joe Biden when he was sitting in his basement that he was going to bring unity and healing and reconciliation to the country. I don't think impeaching a president is very unifying because they're not only going after President Trump, by extension, they're going after the 75 million Americans who voted for the president. So I don't think this move is very unifying, but they're doing it for really two reasons. Number one, they need to keep the focus on President Trump. Their coalition is incredibly fractured. So as long as they have President Trump to focus on, it's good to keep them together. Additionally, they need to distract from their far left radical agenda. As long as President Trump and this impeachment is in the news, we're not talking about the caravan heading to our southern border. We're not talking about Joe Biden, day number one, canceling the Keystone XL pipeline, which killed hundreds of thousands of union jobs. We're not talking about the minimum wage hike, which is going to make 1.2 million Americans unemployed the day that hits. So we're not talking about the far left agenda. We're, again, talking about President Trump. And lastly, let me just say this. It is their dream to impeach President Trump and make sure he can't run again in 2024 because they know that after a disastrous 4 years of Biden or Harris, whoever fills out this term, it is going to be time for a Republican to win again. And they don't want President Trump back in the White House because he would win if he runs again in 2024.
It is interesting, Congressman, that so many of the people who brought us MoveOn.org are the same people who accuse us of trying to move on when we just want to focus on the task at hand. And these people that say they're feeling like they're getting the bait and switch now from Democrats because these checks aren't showing up yet. And those who qualify, apparently the window's getting smaller and smaller. You know, Democrats said everyone's getting these $2,000 checks, but now we know they cannot actually deliver on those promises. We're also learning a lot about some of the negative side effects of the Biden policies, including what could happen with a $15 minimum wage. And this is something that a lot of progressives want in this package. I know you're not, of course, a fan of this, but the CBO just released a report that said it would cost 1.4 million jobs, a $15 minimum wage. You can imagine all those automated checkout centers at Walmart's and grocery stores and fast food restaurants around the country. They'll probably multiply that by 10. It would also add $50 billion to the deficit over the next 4 years. And it doesn't really sound like President Biden wants to embrace this anymore.
No, it doesn't. And it's because Joe Biden realizes that he campaigned as this moderate, as this person who is going to be center left. On day number one, he signed a slew of executive orders that aligned him with the radical progressives in his caucus. And Joe Biden might say that he's not for this minimum wage increase. I'm sorry, but it's not up to Joe Biden. This party is not controlled by Joe Biden. I don't even think they let him pick what he wants in his coffee in the morning, John. So that ship has sailed. The party is controlled by the radicals. And what they fail to realize is that, number one, you're going to kill a lot of jobs. You're going to kill roughly $1.2 million right off the bat. Additionally, you're going to have a ripple effect on the economy. You're going to have a reduction in revenue because if those Americans aren't working, they're not paying taxes. And then think about what it's going to do to everybody who wants to actually enter the workforce.
Right.
If you can't get on that first rung, it's hard for you to climb the ladder as you work your way up. And what you're going to see, you said it exactly, you're going to see a lot of automation. The person that's taking your order at the fast food restaurant, he or she's going to be replaced by a touchscreen, and that's going to happen in all sectors of the economy. So we should be fighting this. And also, it's not what you want to do when you're coming out of an economy that's been hurt badly by this virus that came here from China. So it's a step in the wrong direction all the way around, John.
I learned a new word yesterday, and people should look it up. We don't have time, but it's NILF, N-I-L-F, not in the labor force. That jumped off the page a little bit. I was like, whoa. But I was reading about this yesterday. You know, it does seem like in a lot of ways, the Biden White House doesn't like jobs because this is what President Biden said when he was asked about the $15 minimum wage, to your point here.
I put it in, but I don't think it's going to survive. My guess is it will not be in it. But I do think that we should have a minimum wage, stand by itself, $15 an hour, and work your way up to the 15. It doesn't have to be boom. And all the economics show if you do that, the whole economy rises. Look, no one should work 40 hours a week and live below the poverty wage.
All right, so he's placating the left with those types of statements here. And then you have Jen Psaki yesterday asked about the people who have lost their jobs because of the cancellation of the Keystone XL pipeline. Here's that exchange.
When is it that the Biden administration is going to let the thousands of fossil fuel industry workers, whether it's pipeline workers or construction workers, who are either out of work or will soon be out of work because of a Biden EO, when it is and where it is that they can go for their green job?
Well, the president and many Democrats and Republicans in Congress believe that investment in infrastructure, building infrastructure that's in our national interests and that boosts the U.S. economy, creates good-paying union jobs here in America and advances our climate and clean energy goals are something that we can certainly work on doing together. And he has every plan to share more about his details of that plan in the weeks ahead.
You know, one of my first mentors in this business guy told me that if a politician or elected official or some sort of public official starts talking about infrastructure when you didn't ask about infrastructure, red flag right there. She does not have an answer for this question.
She doesn't have an answer, and it's because this party has really become the party of Range Rover drivers and yoga mat, people carrying yoga mats. They don't care about the person that's actually working, let's say, on a fracking site that showers after work. And the Biden-Harris administration has really declared war on the working class. You know, in that answer, it was shy of just saying, tell them to learn how to code, which is a modern-day equivalent of let them eat cake. It's absolutely tone deaf. And here's something else. There's a complete ignorance from this administration and from liberals on how this energy sector actually works.
Yep.
You can't make a windmill without steel. You can't make steel without coal. You can't make solar panels without rare earth elements that you have to mine for.
I can't just plug my Tesla into the ground and the sun's going to charge it. It doesn't work like that. You know, and again,
it's true. Yeah.
It's why they're virtue signaling and why they're not serious about this stuff. If they were, they'd actually talk about, you know, plans that they could actually enact. Congressman, great to see you as always. Unfortunately, we are out of time. We'll look to the impeachment. We're up against a break here. We'll talk to you soon.
John. Thanks.
We never have enough time. We'll get Congressman Reschenthaler back real soon.